and then you're taken to another page that tells you to get a free quote online, and then you're taken to another page
Yeah. Yep.
and you're this endless loop, right?
Yep.
I think that's the next thing to get attacked by the masses, right? First
Yeah.
it's robocalling, and now it's going to be these endless loops saying that get a quote online. I think people are going to start getting sued for that.
Going on, everyone? Anthony Paluzzi, host of the Caller Meetup here. I have a very special guest for you today, Clayton White of Ringfuze. I've been following this gentleman for quite a while on Facebook, watching what he does, following his every move. I've been creeping out his bedroom window. He doesn't know that until now. Clayton, what's up, man? How you doing?
Doing good, man. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. When you hear a creak outside, just ignore it, okay?
All right. I keep my window shut, so we should be good.
Okay, it's all good. I have a key. So where before we dive into everything, where are you in the world?
I am in Fresno, California. So
Oh, cool. Okay.
right next to all the good fires. So it smells like a barbecue every day.
Oh, beautiful. Okay. All right. Are you from Fresno?
Yeah, born and raised. I actually live out in a suburb of Fresno called Clovis, but everybody knows Fresno. Nobody knows Clovis. So
Okay. All right. We'll say Fresno for this. I mean, I'm south of Boston and Plymouth, so no one knows Plymouth other than Plymouth Rock, and so I just say Boston until someone calls me out. How's the fires out there right now? Is it still pretty hectic?
I can see the sky for the first time in 2 weeks, so that's a plus.
Okay, it's a major plus.
Yeah, still smells pretty bad, ash on the cars, but they're doing what they can to contain them.
Okay.
So it's getting a little better.
You've been in that's quite the area to be in this year for sure with everything that's going on. Well, listen, man, I've been watching what you've been doing on Facebook a lot. I've checked out some of your training videos, and I really like what you do, and I'm looking forward to diving in to a lot of stuff. But before we do that, I don't really know how you started in pay-per-call. And really started in lead gen, or whatever we want to call digital marketing. So can you give me the 60-second elevator pitch on what you've done before you've gotten to this point?
Yeah, so I was in corporate America for the longest time. Always kind of did like a side hustle of any kind of digital marketing. Dipped my toes in the MLM business, did the Beachbody thing.
Okay.
Did drop shipping on eBay back in like 2012, very early on. I was successful with that for a little bit. And then I opened up a health insurance call center. We had at our peak was about 32 agents running free in our agency, all in-house. And we were generating our own calls, and we were also spending a lot of money with DataLot, NextGen, those bigger guys, right? We were spending upwards of $35,000 a week on inbound calls. And so at that point, I was kind of like, well, I've done digital marketing before, so maybe I can figure out a way to generate some calls. And that's kind of what I did. I had a good little marketing budget to play around with. So self-taught. I did later on find that there were people actually teaching pay-per-call, so I kind of started following a couple of them. Gene, I'm sure you know who Gene is, right?
Oh yeah, I know Gene. I know Gene for
so
sure.
I've checked out some of his training. The guys over at CallZoo, and then I started putting together my own stuff after I closed the agency in 2018. I closed the agency and focused solely on marketing and primarily the U65 health, because that's what we were selling in the call center. And so I just wanted to be a one-man band, and just generate calls and sell them and kind of sit back and live the work from home lifestyle. And so that's what I've been doing ever since.
Okay, beautiful. So talk touching on the health insurance call center side, when did you start that business?
2015, we officially
2015.
opened, yeah.
Okay.
And we
Okay. So
actually
you had to go for three
started
years.
as I guess, as an onshore transfer agency. So we would buy data, and at the very beginning, we had 20 agents on the phone, and we were transferring about 400 health calls a day.
It's a good amount
Uh,
of calls.
yeah, we were going through quite a bit of data each week. But this was in the peak, this is back when, the open enrollment and Obamacare stuff was
Hmm.
relatively still exciting for people. So we were able to crush it. And then we were like, hey, let's just start selling the insurance ourselves, cut out the end user and be the end user and the creator. And so that's kind of what we ended up doing.
Oh,
And
beautiful.
then slowly the generating calls via outbound calling was not working as well. So we looked at inbound marketing as a solution. And that's when we got hooked up with like all the other lead vendors. And then, yeah.
Oh,
And then
nice. Okay.
I got bored of well, I got tired of the regulatory issues that come along with running a health insurance agency at that scale. And so I was like, and then my partner at the time ended up moving out to LA, and I was just like, you know what, I'm just going to shut it down and just do the marketing side of things. I enjoy being creative, and I get to be creative and work from home. So
Yeah. I mean, running a call center is a major, major task.
yeah,
So you were servicing the policies, or at least doing the underwriting too.
yeah, we were doing everything from, the initial contact to the pitch to the close to the verification. I started my own branded products. So we had our own branded products that we were selling, which was nice because those still pay me out today, residual income. So that's
Okay.
one good thing about health insurance.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah,
So you went into this 2015. I wouldn't say that was the height of, when Obamacare um, was really in our space where it was moving. But man, it must have been crazy in
oh,
terms
yeah.
of the call volume around that time frame of open enrollment, and then with Obamacare going into effect. Uh, how many calls a day were you passing through in that call center during open enrollment?
We would average about 400 calls a day.
Okay. Oh, and those. How many of those were you writing into policies?
Um, well, when we were doing the 400 calls a day, that was when we were just strictly lead generators. And then once
Oh,
we
okay.
switched over to an actual agency, we dropped because we ended up getting more than half of our staff licensed to sell health insurance
Yeah.
because they were the ones that were hungry for it. So we were like, yeah, let's do it. So we went and spent a lot of money on licensing. Everyone was licensed in, I believe we were 38 states. So you can imagine we had 15 licensed agents out of those 20, and then every 15 of those was licensed in 38 states, and we
Man,
paid for everything.
that
So
that's
it
a
was
lot of
quite an
cash.
investment. It was
Yeah,
quite an investment, but
big
we
time.
made it back. We made it back. So
That that's good.
so the call volume dropped to about 100 calls a day because we only had a handful of fronters doing the
Mhm.
calling. Um, and then we were closing, around 100, 200 policies a week.
Okay, so that's great. That's really good. So you had to deal with health insurance, healthcare regulations, and then you had to ensure that the operations were moving smooth. And then on top of that, you were outbound dialing leads to ensure that they were all compliant with TCPA.
Right.
did you turn to Did you turn into an attorney at some point while you were running that business?
I I was an attorney. I was an HR specialist.
Yeah.
I was a counselor because the the people that some of these agents and fronters would talk to would just rip into them. So there's a little bit of like mental anguish that
Yeah.
they went through. So it's kind of a bit of a counselor. Um, but yeah, had to know the laws in 38 states. Had to know the laws of dialing in 38 states.
Yep.
Had to keep up with all the licensing in 38 states. So it was, and we weren't. I mean, we were big at our prime, we had 32 people working for me underneath me, some of which were supportive staff. But I'm kind of like, I need to have my hand in everything so that I
Yeah,
make sure everything's running smooth. And it's hard for me to like let go of everything. So I think that's really what burnt me out so quick. It was the lack of willingness to give up control
I
and
got you. Okay,
sit
for
back.
sure. Yeah, I mean, it's sometimes when you have that big vision, it's hard to like, I guess, give that install that into your team, and then you kind of get into a micromanaging
Yeah.
role, and you have to touch everything. But at least from that, you could have extracted some good operational practices in terms of
Oh
how
yeah.
to run organizations at scale. Um, and you've seen probably the most bullshit you could see in one of the most difficult verticals that exist today, still in pay per
Oh yeah.
call. So with when you were running your agency and you were writing these policies yourself, there were still a lot of challenges when it came to finding the right types of callers because you still had to have certain individuals who have qualifying events. So being that you were buying the media, working that media, and servicing that media, were you able to see the entire funnel of, okay, this is where we need to focus when we buy media, let's say from Google, to find these audiences outside of open enrollment? Were you able to really dive deep into the data and extract some trends so you could purchase ads better, essentially?
Yeah, absolutely. So it I don't like to compare myself to other people, but everybody likes to take that nationwide open, fully open, let's go to town and run traffic. Where I'm more of like, no, you need to segment everything. You need to have specialized landing
Yeah.
pages for all of your ad groups. You need to target cities and counties and states differently in each region. You've got to have a message that appeals to the people. We wrote a lot of business in Georgia and Atlanta and Texas and Florida. Those were probably our biggest states, just because we sold a lot of short-term health insurance.
Okay.
A lot of short-term health insurance.
Right.
It was the biggest money maker. We did a lot of final expense, accidental death and dismemberment. So not only health, but we were also life. And so I got to see everything from, how you get someone interested to their whole journey to actually closing that deal, and how long they stayed on the books was also a big key factor as well.
Yeah.
So
Okay. That long
you
term
can have
value.
a shark that closes everybody, but what's his, uh, what's his, can't think of the word right now, retention
The
rate.
LTV, the
Yeah.
retention. Yeah.
Yeah. What's his retention? Is he at like a 32% retention, or is he at like an 80%? And so I always try to make sure that we were focusing on that too. So we didn't want to just sell to sell. We wanted to sell to
Hmm.
keep on the books.
Yeah.
Was
I love when you get scientific, especially with health insurance. And actually, side note, I'm probably going to focus on health insurance a lot with this because open enrollment's coming up,
yeah,
and it's just
yeah,
fun to talk about it. But I kind of look at health insurance as a one of those verticals that you have to really be scientific. You have to kind of look at it like ecom in some way, because with
yeah,
ecom you have to understand, purchase behaviors and like who this individual is, what's their digital DNA, so you can start to market better. With all these qualifying events, I know that like at Palo, what I used to do just as an affiliate, health insurance was impossible for me to run, and it's because I couldn't see that full funnel, and the qualifying events just were a huge hurdle. But now when I look at it, I see, okay, well, there's more capabilities nowadays in terms of targeting, so be more scientific. So I love how you took that and you essentially had these buckets, and you tailored to these different buckets. So I'm just curious on that. What were some of the best avenues to market in during the 2015, 2018 time when you were running this, where you could really find that good consumer? And if there's some secret sauce here, you don't have to share it. But I'm just curious at what, like, where did you, because you only have you only have so much time, you only have so much in terms of resource. You had to focus your attention somewhere. What was the big moneymaker for you?
Well, if you buy my course, I have it all laid out. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay. Okay. We're going to turn this into a YouTube ad. All right.
No, it's really about knowing the geographical location, knowing the income of those people in those areas, knowing
Okay.
the most common medical condition, like the southern states are more prone to being diabetic. So what type of plans will they be approved for? What type of life insurance plans are they going to be able to be, you're going to want to focus more on guaranteed issue type of policies for when you're talking about life. When you're talking about health insurance, you're wanting something that's not going to look at those pre-existing conditions. And so it's all about making sure that marketing language matches with that geographical location that you're going after.
Okay. I love that. Okay. No, I mean, you said it loud and clear right there.
And you can get all
Yeah.
that data just by going to Google. I
Yeah,
mean,
exactly.
obviously the best way to get real hardcore data is to pay for it. And by that,
Mhm.
I mean running Google ads, running Facebook ads, running Bing ads, and getting that data on those people that are clicking those ads, following through on your marketing, um, and just kind of segmenting that list from there. But a lot of
Yeah.
people don't have that type of marketing budget to waste a couple $1,000s on an area just for the data. But so
For sure. Well, and if you don't have that marketing budget, and what I like to do is when I talk with either affiliates that we work with or we talk with our clients that are direct carriers, it's like I'm going to annoy the fuck out of them and understand, where do your best customers come from? What
mhm.
does the process look like to sign up a new client and a new policy? And tell me a little bit about your marketing history. Because if you don't have, let's say, 1,000, 5,000, maybe even 10,000 to spend on Facebook, because you're gonna spend a lot of cash on Facebook just building up a set of data, and then you got to make that money back. You should be trying to get that data elsewhere. Well, maybe does my client have that? Maybe does the carrier have that? What you just said right there about the southern states having a higher rate of diabetes, that's ad copy right there. That's something you put in Facebook and you relate to that individual and you let them know that we understand your health conditions and we've got policies to help you out. Oh yeah, and here's a picture of I don't know, the Olympic Park in Atlanta. I don't remember the name of it, but it helps really understanding that. I love that. I love that scientific approach. Um, so moving from 2018 to today, I mean, you're no longer Clayton, the attorney, call center manager, HR manager, COO. You're more Clayton, the teacher and affiliate. What have you been really focused on these past couple of years?
um, really, I so I started off with after I closed the agency, I started off with U65,
Hmm.
and then I know you're probably aware there was a lot of so I started dabbling a little bit in brokering, or aggregation, if you want to get fancy, right?
Okay. All
And
right.
and so I bought some overseas traffic
Oh,
and
okay.
lost a lot of money because of fraud calls.
I love how you approach that sentence, by the way.
So
Okay.
all the incentivized calls, and I know you know what I'm talking about.
Hmm.
And most people on here, if they've ever dealt with U65 in the last couple of years and bought overseas traffic, they know what I'm talking about. Um, I lost probably $16,000 in the course of 3 months because of fraudulent calls. And I'm a
Oh,
nice
gotcha.
guy, so I take the hit, right? I give my agency, or I give the agency back their money for the fraud calls.
Yep.
And it's hard to get money back from the overseas people because you're usually paying them PayPal or direct wire through some kind of bank. Um, and so I was like, you know what, I'm done. I don't want to do U65 anymore. And so I started doing local marketing. So I started going out to my local area and reaching out to I was doing um, tax preparation calls, I was doing pest control calls, and Then I got drawn back into U65.
Oh, okay. All right.
You know,
You're a
uh,
fiend.
it's the money's too good, right? Um, but yeah, so what I've been focusing on now is kind of teaching people, kind of what I do, and it all stemmed from building out my software, which was Ringfuze, and trying to educate people on how to properly market for like smaller businesses. And then everybody wanted to learn about U65. And so then I put together a U65 course. And now I'm kind of trying to take people back and tell them, like,
Okay.
look, most people who are getting into the marketing game, and I don't want to offend anybody, but when you see people running U65 or any kind of law or anything that's people trying to get into rehab and they've never marketed before, I tell them, yeah, look, the payout looks big, but you guys got to like walk before you can run, and you get to even crawl before you can walk. So
Yeah.
I've been trying to take people back a step and like, look, just go out there and market to for some local businesses in your area. Just send them some free calls. Just do some basic stuff so you get a sense of confidence, and then you can take that and scale from there, because a lot of people want to go run these national campaigns and they're like, yeah, I can spend $10 a day. I'm like,
Yep.
well, you won't even get a call for $10 a day.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
You might be lucky and you might get one call, but I mean, that's not enough data. And then they'll start spending $10 a day on Facebook, and they're like, I'm losing all this money. It's like, yeah, because the people who you're competing against are spending millions of dollars a month in that same sector, and so you're
Yep.
getting squashed out. And so that's kind of been my focus, was building the software and trying to help people actually build a good foundation within the online marketing, especially the pay per call side of things.
I love that. Yeah, it's like the gym. You got to start small. If you're going to go at first off, going after rehab now, it's like, I mean, okay, buddy, you're building you got to build a whole brand around that. But like, going after those big verticals, it's just gonna be a waste of money unless you have that bankroll to fund that
Yeah.
data purchase. But I love that. I love that approach. It's just start local, send them free calls. I did that for a while when I wanted to do something on a regional basis. I would just generate them calls. I download the audio files. I'd email to them, hey, did you like these calls? I drove you
Yep.
those calls. You want more of those calls? Let's talk. So, um, but focusing on the software you mentioned, what's your software about?
So I use Ringba. Love Ringba. I've used other systems out there to kind of help manage, the inbound call and the call distribution. Um, but I felt like it was kind of lacking that agency management side of things. So being able to bill my customers, or my customers having an easy to use portal to go in there and send me money for the leads that I'm sending them, do all their tracking, dispute their calls. And so I built out Ringfuze around Ringba. Um,
Oh, okay.
and what it does is it integrates with Ringba. And so you can use Ringba as your call tracking, and then Ringfuze kind of sits on top of it. And then, you know, I'm sure you're familiar with, like, you ever use Datalot or NextGen or seen their backend
Oh yeah,
systems?
I've used them all for sure.
Yeah, so it's similar to that. So when you're a customer to that, you can go in there, you can fund your account, and you can turn on and off your campaigns. So basically, it's the same concept, but it's for anybody to use.
Oh, cool. Okay, so it's like an admin, so you can manage
Yeah.
the. Okay, cool. I like that. Um, I know the dudes at Ringba very well. Why'd you choose their system?
I just like what they're doing. I mean, they're very technology focused. Their customer service is by far the best. And I've used CallRail, which is good if you're just doing like really local stuff, but it's kind of expensive at the same time compared to like what
Yeah.
you can do with Ringba. And I've used other systems. I'm not gonna name them, but they're more cumbersome, larger systems, bigger learning curves. I'm a stickler for UI, so if the UI
Yeah.
doesn't jive well with me, I kind of write it off. Um,
Mhm.
and so that's Then I fell into Ringba, started using it. I like how they integrate with the Blacklist Alliance. Um, they've got all these different things that they're always working on, always developing more stuff. Their customer service, you write them a question, you're getting an answer. So
Totally. Okay. Beautiful. No, I love that. And we have a similar experience with some of the things we do with them too. And it's cool to see that the call tracking space uh, is evolving, and everyone's kind of they're making their position in certain niches. Whereas I would say Ringba is definitely focused on the performance side, and like you said, Colorado is very local. There's companies like Phone Wagon who do various different things. They're similar to CallRail too, but a bit more robust. Invoca looks at a lot of enterprise type clients too. Um,
yeah,
so
Invoca is
it's
definitely more enterprise. I used
yeah,
them for
yeah.
a little bit, but
Okay. Okay, gotcha. So shifting to like the media buying side of what you're doing now, some of the stuff that I've watched you, uh, some of the videos that I've watched where you go through some of the basics, it seems like you're testing out a lot of different methods, and you're looking more towards SMS type of technology or even call center type of technology. What are some of the things you're focusing on going into open enrollment and just overall that's helping you buy media better, or some of the new things that you've seen out there that are worth investing in?
yeah, so I did a lot of SMS testing. I did a lot of automation, outbound. Um, so like lead comes in and then the system calls them with a pre-recorded message, press one to be connected type of stuff. Um, and it's great. It's good. It's a good option for people just getting started or don't have the resources to have the phones manned by people.
Mhm.
Because what I've found is you're not going to get a better conversion than a real live US based agent reaching out to a potential lead. It's just from what I've tested across all the different ways of getting that lead on the phone to generate that phone call transfer um, or to generate an inbound call. It's just you're not getting that same conversion rate. But the automation does have its place. Obviously, it's a lot less expensive than hiring a full-time agent,
Sure.
especially
Yeah.
in the U.S. You know, Philippines. Everybody loves the Philippines. $3 to $4 an hour. Um, and they do have pretty good English skills, but there's still that accent. They still can't pick up on the social cues and things like that. And so that's where the U.S. agents play a bigger role. But yeah, so SMS automation has been pretty. It's been pretty good. Um, I've been doing a little bit of experimenting with AI, so building out. They call it AI. It's basically just a series of um, autoresponders
Yeah. Okay.
that
I wasn't gonna say
but
it.
everyone
Yeah.
calls it AI, right? It's not. It's just you have to program that whole thing.
Mhm.
Some companies offer pre-built AI, but machine learning, that's AI. That's the
Yeah.
real stuff.
Okay.
And I don't think anybody's really using machine learning in the space that I've seen yet. Not
Yeah. I
not to
haven't
say that
seen
it's
too
not
much.
being done, but I mean it is probably the next evolution because they have the
Yeah.
conversational AI. That's pretty scary. Um, pretty cool,
Yes.
but
It
you
is.
can't
It's
tell the
pretty.
difference.
Yeah. When you see your Google Home or some takeout, I saw that video. That was pretty bananas.
Yeah.
Um, I would I would agree with you on the call center side of things, where you especially on a U.S. based call center, they're gonna have just better conversion rates, big time, man. But I look at it as we start to see how robocalls are dealt with and outbound dials are dealt with, and then as well a shift in habit from the user, such as they don't want to pick the phone up anymore, they would prefer to text. I'm starting to see that shift in certain verticals. Medicare, for example, we do quite a bit of Medicare. They're not going to be prone to texting as much as like an outbound dial, and that outbound dial still has to make its way through. So we're actively looking at both. We invest heavily into some SMS as well. We do a lot of drips, and we're
Yeah.
trying to figure out like really how do we continue to bridge that gap, because there's so much data out there. Like you
Yeah.
know, it's how do you
I,
turn this data into a phone call?
I really think it's like a generational thing, right? So
Mhm.
I'd say anybody under the age of 32, they don't want to talk to a person. They want to
Yeah,
talk to a machine. They want to text. They want to chat. That's all they want to do. They want instant quotes online. So I think to a lot of, you see a lot of health insurance advertisers, get a free quote online, and then you're taken to another page that tells you to get a free quote online, and then you're taken to another page
yeah, yep,
and you're this endless loop, right?
yep,
I think that's the next thing to get attacked by the masses, right? First
yeah,
it's robocalling, and now it's going to be these endless loops saying that get a quote online. I think people are going to start getting sued for that, because
sure,
it's it's false advertisement in a way, because they're saying get a quote online, but then you have to call somebody or someone's going to call you, so that's not online. There's only a select few people that actually offer that type of service, um, and like the Health Sherpa, who else? eHealth does some,
yep.
um, assurance. I think Assurance has some.
Assurance, yeah, Assurance IQ does that. I think the
Yeah,
Zebra does that too for auto insurance.
yeah. So I think that's probably the next evolution in, the health insurance game, is tending to those millennial generations coming up that want to do everything online, want to do everything through an
Yeah,
app, don't want to talk to people, just want to handle all their business through a customer portal.
yeah,
And I think SMS is a good way, but um, I think there's technologies that are going to be like the mini disc, right? Remember, I don't know, I might
the
be.
mini disc.
You
Okay,
are you?
man,
How old are you?
I'm 33. I just
33.
turned 33. What
Do you
the well,
remember?
so
Do you remember the mini disc? It
was
was,
that pre-CD?
yeah.
All
It was
right.
a little tiny discs,
I
and
do
they were going to
remember
be the
those.
next
Yeah.
big thing. And
Yeah.
then I think it was, what was the first iPod that came out, and it just, the MP3 player
Yeah.
just
Yep.
crushed it and just destroyed everything.
Oh yeah. I think
So
I
I'm
still have my Walkman for my CD. That thing was legit. I think it had 30-second skip like buffer on it or something like that. After 30
yeah,
seconds though, you know, my DMX album wasn't going to work.
yeah. I found, we were cleaning out the garage. We have a spring cleaning where they come and do the big trash pickups in our neighborhood, and going through the garage, and I found a Blockbuster video card,
Oh
my original
man.
membership card.
Oh, beautiful. Okay.
I was like, I feel like
Nice.
I should frame this.
That's good. You find any pogs out there too?
Actually, I did. I did.
Oh shit.
I
Okay.
it was my box that followed me from after I left my parents' house to all the different apartments and houses that I lived in, and
Okay.
it was one that I never opened but never threw away, and so I got
Okay.
I
All
got to
right.
cleaning it out finally.
All right. Beautiful.
20,
Well, when
20 something years later.
when the world reopens again at the next Caller Meetup, we'll have a pog tournament. Okay. I'll bring my slammers.
Yeah, yeah, yep.
Yeah.
The Slammers.
I lost a lot of friends because of pogs.
There's
Nice.
probably some people listening to this like, what are they talking
Yeah.
about?
They're like, fuck that guy. He still has my 8-ball slammer. It's like, well, it's mine, dude. I won it. So, so just going back to the generational like habits,
Yeah,
I look at that as you're not going to get someone. You might be able to. It's just difficult long term. But if I have a user on Snapchat engaged, it's damn near impossible to get them to stop looking at, I don't know, some stupid videos on WorldStar to like make a phone call, because they want to stay within their environment. But if you can at least capture them and get them over the lowest barrier, which is maybe a form fill, well, you can do a lot more with that. But then, like you said too, there's going to be aspects of, well, there isn't going to need to be that form fill, because there's also that there's also going to be that online transaction that occurs. I mean, I think that's still pretty far down the road. I hope
Yeah.
it's not tomorrow or we're all out of business. But there's a lot of trust that needs to be built to get that person to actually engage. And so we see things like Facebook lead ads to an SMS funnel within a certain um, audience set works pretty well. But you have to be, like you said earlier, scientific, because if you're gonna build that trust and get them to fill in their information, they have to meet a lot of different criteria points. How
Yeah.
old are they? Does that ad look like it's sketchy to them? Are you gonna get your Facebook account, suspended because of all these other items? So it's getting difficult. But I think what you said right there is spot on. There's a lot of generational gaps within that.
They just need a click to text button now.
Yeah, a click to text would be great. Yeah,
Right.
that would be awesome. I mean, Google Ads tried that for a while. I don't know if that still exists. Message
Like,
extensions.
oh, oh, I don't think I ever played around with those.
Yeah, I mean, Google they like to throw out a lot of new features, but at the end of the day, I mean, call only and click to the lander is still supreme. We're starting to see, well, actually, we did see, and we saw nothing. The Google lead ads when we were testing those out with motor vehicle accident, they don't do shit. But I mean, I like that there's a transition right now of getting that data to some funnel, so you don't have to get them to the lander. I like these. I guess we'd call them native ad units. You don't have to leave
Yeah.
Facebook. You don't have to leave Google. It will be interesting to see what happens with Snapchat. I don't know what you're going to do with TikTok if it even stays around.
Well, who bought it? Oracle now?
I think I think there's a partnership with Oracle. I don't know if it's finalized. Uh, I think right now 50% of TikTok though is owned by U.S. Based companies because of
Yeah.
Oracle, Walmart, and then there are a few other companies too um, that have interest in it. But we'll see. We'll
Yep.
see how that. I mean, I can't imagine I'm going to have a 18-year-old look for a credit repair ad on TikTok. I don't see that happening too well.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's part of the know your audience and know your
Yeah.
marketing platform. Like,
For
I'm not
sure.
going to go after Medicare on TikTok.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, for sure. Yeah, big time. So one thing I like to do when I get some guests on this show is I'd like to get them to kind of show something tactical or share something tactical or anything that our users can literally say, all right, let's strap on my boots, let's throw on my mask, let's get current right now, and let's get into action with something. And I know you got a great course. You have several courses actually, from noob to advanced. So there might be something from those that you could share that can help our users get ready for open enrollment coming up or any vertical. I'd love to hear what you have here, man.
Well, my first piece of advice is if you're just getting started, don't go use 65
Okay.
unless you have a
Okay.
huge budget. But, um, uh, it really comes down to, I mean, I know everyone's heard this before, but it's taking action, focus. Focus on the vertical you're going after. Learn about it. Um, I always say that, so I'm doing like a little master class right now. And so what I'm telling them to do is you pick your vertical, you pick your location, you set up your social media accounts, you set up a super easy landing page. Make it click to call heavy if you're going click to call, or add a lead form in there if you're willing to take leads. And then set up a Google and Facebook account and drive some traffic to it, get 2 to 3 to 5 leads, and then use that as your marketing power to go out there and find clients. So those leads and
Okay.
calls that come in, just send it to any random person. The thing that you need to do is you need to do it. You need to actually do it. You need to not sit there and focus on branding and building websites and having the best ad copy and all that. It doesn't matter. What matters is having your assets lined up and running traffic to those assets getting some results, and then going out there and worrying about getting prospect or, joining an affiliate network or anything like
Mhm.
that, because even the affiliate network is going to want to know if you actually know what you're doing. And if you've never driven leads before, there's a good chance they're not going to let you on.
Yeah.
So basically action and focus are what people need to focus on. If you're more advanced and you're already doing that kind of stuff, really look at, like we said earlier, like I was saying earlier, hyper target your audience by location demographic. um,
Yeah.
you're going to be able to convey the best message to your end user, and you're going to be able to get better conversions at a lot cheaper rate.
Yeah. Okay. I love that. I mean, that's spot on. I love that advice. It applies for anyone. I think the noob to advance, because if I don't know health insurance, I'm not going to die. I mean, if I know media buying and everything and I do all these other verticals, but I don't know health insurance, I'm going to lose my ass if I start to go nationwide. I want to, like you just said, learn the business a bit more. What better way to learn than just to start small,
Yeah.
extract data from that? Hey, maybe you even start, let's say, on, Florida, and Florida is where you focus on, and you're just the king of Florida.
There's
I don't
nothing
know who
wrong
wants
with
to be the
that.
king of Florida. Yeah. So yeah, for sure. So you can just really zero in. I love that, man. So what do we got? We got 46 minutes right now, from what I can see. I'm gonna wrap this up with a few more questions just about you as the dude, and what else you got really kind of going on the side. So when you're researching different marketing trends and marketing ideas or whatever that may be, do you have any go-to resources such as blogs or books or podcasts that you really like to recommend to other individuals?
When I'm researching industries,
It could be industries, it could be just digital marketing, like
uh,
it could be a digital marketing blog that you love.
well, what I've really been kind of focusing on lately is a lot more SEO approach. So I've been really kind of soaking up a lot of the rank and rent model stuff that's out there. So if you guys aren't familiar with that, there's just search rank and rent on Facebook, and you'll see all kinds of groups. But what they do is basically they take an SEO approach to lead generation, using like exact match domains and different
Mhm.
other tactics. And so that's kind of what I've been looking at, because it goes really well with the hyper targeting when you're running your campaigns. So
Okay. Okay, gotcha. Oh, maybe that's going to be a follow-up episode of how that's working out for you then. All right, cool. So, what's your favorite book and the book you'd recommend to most individuals?
uh, I listen to. I haven't read any books lately. I'm not gonna lie. I'm
Okay.
not gonna lie. Everything I do is usually through a Google search, and I'm reading articles.
Okay. All right. I
Um,
read Google as well. It's a great book.
it's a great book. Um, I definitely recommend, if you are looking for information on media buying, you go directly to the source and start going through Facebook's blueprint and
Yeah.
Google's Google ad training.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Okay.
the best place to start.
Great rec for sure. They want you to spend more cash, so they're going to
Yeah.
invest in that. Um, what does the first hour of your day look like?
Usually, so lately now, since I put on so much weight during this COVID thing, I've been waking up and going for a run, doing a little bit of calisthenics, and then, doing the shower thing, jumping on the computer,
Okay.
firing up Ringba, and going to town.
Do you want to show us some calisthenic moves right now?
No,
You
not
want
at
to
all.
show it?
Not at all.
Okay. All right. All right. Fine. I'll get into yoga crow if you want right now to make you feel comfortable.
Yeah, I'll show you the
All right.
downward dog. How about
Okay.
that?
Okay. That's Caller Meetup After Dark. So, um, excellent, man. Well, listen, Clayton, this was awesome. I'm excited to really see what you have rolling out with your software and your trainings. I mean, I definitely have to go through some of those. I've checked out one of them, but not deep enough. And I'm just excited to check back in with you after open enrollment too to see how everything went. But I want people to know how they can reach you. So where do you want them to go if they can hit you up Skype, email, whatever that is, website. Tell them how they can.
So the first way I would say go to papercallacademy.com. And you scroll down to the bottom, click on the free training, and it will take you over to the Facebook group where you can go through all the different free stuff that I've posted on there. I'm also giving away the free, or I call it the associates course, right? It's the first intro into paper call.
Okay.
So I'm giving that away for free right now in the group. So, and I'm in the group, so you can find me, befriend me there, hit me up on Skype, Clayton.85. I don't use Twitter, so you can't find me there.
Okay. All right, cool.
But yeah.
All right, beautiful. All right, man. Awesome. Well, Clayton, thanks for taking the time, man. It was good stuff.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You got it, dude.